I want to replace the front side light bulbs in this Ford Mondeo. European cars, unlike American cars, typically use a white side light bulb, and the traditional filament 501 5 watt T10 wedge bulbs that they tend to use for this sort of application generate this horrible yellow, sort of almost sickly warm color, which it would be nice to replace with a brighter, purer white color. And for that we will use retrofit LEDs. So I'm going to do a video that is specific to this Mk3 Mondeo with regard to actually replacing the bulbs. But I'll also talk about the decision-making process in choosing the bulb, which will apply to pretty much any vehicle. That's to say, selecting the correct style that will best replace the old filament bulb. Okay, so the way that this is arranged in the Mondeo is the bulb, and this is sort of a picture of the original filament bulb, sits inside a lens, which is sort of a Fresnel type design like this. And these are the walls of the headlight unit. And the old bulb wastes most of its light because it does this. But the light that goes here goes through the lens and is projected forwards. So not all cars have this kind of lens arrangement. A lot of cars, for example, you just have the main reflector. This is the headlight bulb, and they will stick the side light bulb sort of out like this, and then the light just bounces off. It does random things. In this case, you want a replacement bulb which is emulating the original bulb in the sense of a all-round light. You want as much of a 360-degree type projection of light. But for this, in the Mondeo, we only care about well, this is clear too actually, but this is the lens projection bit. There's also a bit to the side that you can see, so it does allow a little bit of sideways light. But basically, we would want this angle forwards, and we don't want anything else because it would just be wasted. So an LED that has a point source, ideally, chip, which projects forward, is what we're looking for. And that is what I found on eBay, looking for T10 LED replacement bulbs. This is advertised as a Cree. I doubt it is. It's Chinese. It's probably an imitation. But it has a single chip in the middle with a sort of dish-shaped reflector, and it projects forward in almost exactly the correct beam angle that we want. So this is perfect. So getting access to the side light bulbs on the Mondeo is very easy. Obviously the side light bulbs are integrated into the main headlight unit, so we need to remove that. To do that, we open the bonnet, and then we have to take the front grille off. To do that, we give the black plastic retaining screw clip things a 1/8 turn anti-clockwise, and then pull them out upwards. And then the grille will be loose. You can just pull it forward. It is retained at the bottom by its own integrated clips, which you need to carefully prise free. Don't just yank on them or you'll end up breaking something. Then put that somewhere safely to one side, and then to get the headlight unit out, you have to pull out its two metal retaining rod things. You just do that by hand. Just find the black metal thumb grip and pull directly upwards and pull it out and away. And then the headlight unit will slide forward at this point. It'll be loose. Now you could disconnect its power connector and remove it completely, but just to show you that it's possible, I'm going to not do that. So the side light bulb access ports, if you like, are obviously directly behind the bulbs at the outside bottom corner. So you just grip the access port and give that a 1/8 turn anti-clockwise and pull it off. And then you will see the wiring and the bulb visible inside. Now the bulb holder is just wedged into the enclosure for the bulb, and it's not in particularly tight, but there's very limited access to it unless you've got really tiny childlike fingers. I suggest you may need to use a pair of needle nose pliers to do this. So you get a grip of the bulb holder, and we're just going to maybe rotate it a little bit to get it loose, but pull it backward and it will come free. And of course there is the old filament bulb, so get a grip on that and pull it out of the holder and put in the new LED. Now you need to test the LED at this point before you reassemble things. Go switch on the side lights and check that it's working. And if it's not working like this, then that probably means that you've installed it the wrong way around, because LEDs have polarity, and unless they have any sophisticated circuitry built into the bulbs to deal with that, they will only work the one way around. So if it doesn't light up at first, then just turn it 180 degrees and try again. And then once you know it is working, then we just carefully insert it back into the enclosure hole and push the bulb holder back into position. And you can see here how ideal this particular configuration of LED bulb is for this enclosure with the Fresnel lens. You can see the yellow chip of the LED there, that's the light source. And you can see how well the reflector dish around it works. So this is great so far. So let's replace the access port for the bulb and put the headlight assembly back into position. Replace its locking, retaining metal bar things, and repeat all that on the opposite side where it is precisely the same procedure, nothing different. Just remember to check the LED for its polarity, and then put that headlight back into position. And finally we can replace the front grille. Get its clips in at the bottom first. They can be a bit tricky, but you know, play around with it and you will get it. And then replace the black plastic retaining screw things at the top. Tighten them with a 1/8 turn clockwise. And now we can admire the new bulbs and consider how much better they look than the old ones. So here the camera is looking at them from the side, and of course we can still see some light, which is great. And as the camera goes around to the front and gets in front of the Fresnel lens, you can see the lens do its thing. And obviously this is where the majority of the light is being projected forwards, which is what we want. In this shot, I have left the original bulb in the right-hand side of the car, and the new bulb is in the left-hand side of the car, just for the sake of comparison. And as you can see, both the color and the brightness are fairly significant improvements. So I'm pretty happy with this. Hope it's helpful for somebody out there. Have fun.